Radhe Radhe everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're all fine and you're studying the Gita and enjoying it. Now, somebody had asked me about Gita journaling, and I actually did not reply yet. The thing that I keep showing here is this thing which is a daily thing for me. I mostly try to stay current with this, which is just to go to the current date and just write the verse. Now for October, you'll see I'm pretty current actually. I've been able to, by God's grace, write each verse from this version, which is Swami Nikhilananda, just the meaning, nothing else, no fancy meaning, just like a short, very short meaning, no word by word, nothing, no Sanskrit verse. So I've been enjoying this. This is not what I call journaling. This is just in my mind scripture writing. That's what I call this. I'm on the 6th chapter, 33rd verse. And that's what I'm going to do for today. And also show you what I mean by journaling and what I do while I journal about or journal concepts from Gita. Arjuna said, this yoga which you, O Madhusudana, have declared to be characterized by evenness, I do not see how it can long endure because of the restlessness of the mind. Very relevant question. Always relevant, right? Mind does not stay in center. It cannot achieve equanimity that Bhagavan says is the key to everything. He's asked a question, how? And he's going to answer. That is today's verse. And I'm going to mark off today as being done. And this is what happens every morning as soon as I get up. Today I'm running behind. I'm a little late. And I was waiting for the light actually. I had this idea of the video. So this is done. This is just kept aside for the day until the next day. Right? The next thing I do, and I don't do this every day, is journaling. Gita journaling is different from just scripture writing. Scripture writing only involves me writing the exact meaning, or it depends upon my preference for the day. I may, write the meanings, or I write the words like Sanskrit words. It depends upon how I feel on that day. But it's basically just writing the verse in different forms. But journaling happens in a different way. Today I have chapter 10, 7th verse that I'm going to try journaling about. What I do for journaling is I write the Sanskrit verse 10:7. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo veti tatvatah. vikalpa, vikalpena. So vikalpena is so avikalpena, yogena, yujyate, natra samshayah. This verse, the meaning reads, he who knows in truth this glory and power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Now, he says, Veti tattvataha, truth, in truth, the glory and power of mine. Tattvataha, Veti tattvataha is what is the most important thing here, in my opinion. So I'm going to highlight that either in the book or in the notebook. It doesn't matter. I think my phone is dying. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I have a couple of highlighters when I do this. Bhagavan says, one who knows me as Tattvataha, which is the actual truth, factually who I am, is without so vikalpena, so avikalpena, without any division. Yogena, he's established in yoga and engaged in yoga forever. So there is no doubt about this. So here it seems to me that the most important thing is knowing God as a tattva, or factually, who is, or realizing God. Okay, now what I am going to do is to get into this Veti Tattvataha and journal about it. I am going to write all the words separately so that I can take this apart. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama ya veti tattvataha. I'm just going to write those Sanskrit words and write the meanings so that I can take this apart and start journaling about it. Etam, all this. What does all this mean here? It's the Vibhuti of God. He has shown, he has become everything. So Vibhuti of Bhagavan is what he says. Vibhutim, my opulence. Yogam cha, also mystic power. Mama, of mine. Yaha, anyone. Veti, knows. Tattvataha, factually. Saha, or sa, he. Avikalpena, vikalpa is, it says division here. Vikalpa is distortion, and without any distortion or without distortion is what I'm going to write, even though it says division. It's, some words are very hard to translate. I'm taking distortion or any changes or anything that is like projected as something else, vikalpa. So a little different, or one could say division, but no stoppage maybe here. So without any division. Yogena, in yoga. Here In this version, it's always bhakti yoga and devotional service. Yujyate, engaged or established is what I would take it as. Established, being established in yoga. Na, never. Atra samshayaha. Atra, here. Samshayaha, doubt. So, in this, Bhagavan says, one who has known me factually is always established in yoga. Now, I want to say, how do we know Bhagavan's tattva? Madhvacharya's entire work is called Tattvavada because it's supposed to be about factually who God is. So how would somebody know Bhagavan's tattva or factually really know God? Being where I am. This is personal journaling. This is about taking these things and applying in life. So being where I am, how would I ever really know God? So to know God or even get closer to God, smarana is one of the ways, is to listen to scriptures. And in elsewhere, Bhagavan says, Janma karma cha me divyam. So his Janma and his karma is to listen to scriptures and his divine stories. His divine stories are called Leela Vaibhavam. His divine place. Leela Vaibhavam. So, to hear, to contemplate would be the next. Manana. To contemplate, what do we contemplate? To get closer to the fact or to be a Tattvadarshi. Elsewhere God says Tattvadarshinaha. One who has seen God's Tattva or had a darshan. It's actually not seeing with your physical eyes but to actually see and take him in. So manana is to contemplate his Janma and Leela Vaibhava. And one more effective way is to do contemplation of his Rupa Vaibhava. Rupa Vaibhava is meditating on his form. There are very many helpful tools to do this kind of meditating on the form. There are Dhyana Shlokas. There is Purusha Suktam, which is a Vedic chant which would describe God from head to toe. And there's also Vishnu Sahasranama. And because I am doing this as a personal exercise of journaling, I am thinking of how I would unpack this Veti Tattvataha in my daily life. That is to do smarana of scriptures. I can do smarana of his Leela through Bhagavatam, listening to Bhagavatam, and to do his meditation on his form by reciting Vishnu Sahasranama, which also comes with the Dhyana Shloka, reciting, hearing Vishnu Sahasranama, just by playing it every day. My manana component for the day would be done. Nididhyasana is another method, which is walking the path, or walking that path, walking that talk or whatever they say, walking the path, or actually putting stuff in practice. So vikalpena is without any division. He will be in yoga. Always be established in yoga. Always be established in yoga. If I do these three, that is to think of, remember his Leela, Rupa Vaibhavam and Tattva Vaibhavam. There are three things that you can do when you especially study the Sahasranamas, Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama. All of these Sahasranamas come with a component where you are given a tool to do the Rupa Vaibhavam, that is to think of God from head to toe in case of male God forms, and in case of I'm doing it I'm saying it opposite, toe to head in the case of male forms and head to toe in case of female God forms. You're given that in the Nama itself. You will have descriptions of his crown, of her crown, Divine Mother's crown, and of his crown and his feet and everything. So you can do that kind of a meditation while reciting the Namas, Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama and all that. And then you also have the Tattva Vaibhavam, which is his Tattva, his attributes, or who he is actually. That is all the essence of Upanishads, like Aham Brahmasmi, and all those 4 Vakyas from the Upanishads and Vedas have been packed into these Sahasranamas, and you will see Nirvikara, all those words come up in the Sahasranama itself, and you can contemplate on those and know the Tattva of God or factual details of God. We can do that. And there are namas that actually point to his Tattva. There are namas that point to his Rupa, which is his form. There are also namas that point to his Leela. And in many places, the one that we wrote in the morning, it said, O Madhusudana. That is a Leela Vaibhav, where he was the slayer of the demon Madhu and Kaitapa. So thinking of his Leelas are also possible by chanting the Sahasranama. Thinking of his form is possible by chanting the Sahasranama, and also thinking of his Tattva is possible by chanting Sahasranama. So in my everyday life, to do this Veti Tattvataha and be established in yoga always, what is established in yoga look like for me where I am is what I'm going to journal about. And yoga is just being centered in union with God actually, and in equanimous mindset or equanimity being in us. So that is yoga. So how will I be established in yoga? For me, in my daily life, bhakti. Bhakti helps being established in yoga, and to know Bhagavan's Tattva. How bhakti looks like in my daily life is simple, spiritual practices designed to promote remembering and aligning God in my daily activities. Now all my daily activities are just karmas. And by integrating God in my daily activities, my karma will become karma yoga. Thereby I will be established in yoga always. How is this done? Is to offer everything to Lord. Offer what? Offer food that I make. Offer serving the family members. Think and remember. Thinking is one thing. One is to remind myself that my family is Lord Himself. Anybody who I come in touch with in terms of serving them at work and serving them in the house, any conversation I have with a friend, in everything I will remember that Lord alone has visited me in this form. I'll remind myself of that. Simple reminders. Nama, chanting the Nama is going to lead me here. Chanting the Nama is going to increase the bhakti. Chanting the Nama will also unpack this Veti Tattvataha for me. I talked about it while I did this, and that's probably why I don't feel like I actually journal. But the process of journaling for me looks like this, that I break up a verse, I see what God is trying to say here, and pick up that one thing that is to be done to get closer to Him. For me, study of scriptures is only to get closer to God. Knowledge is another thing. That's a byproduct of devotion. It comes, but devotion being my main center of why I study the Gita, I keep all my journaling, my study, everything around it. So I'll try to take a concept and see where and how I can apply to it. And for me, everything boils down to bhakti, and putting bhakti in practice in several ways within our life just makes our mind placid. The more the mind is placid, the equanimity follows, and there is a hope that equanimity follows. Whether I have reached there or whether I'm on my way or how far I am from it is all personal, and that's not the point of this channel or the study, but that's what the point of my study is. That's what it is. And anyone can have anything as their point of study of Gita. In the beginning, I have in my videos told that you will ask yourself this honest question: why I want to study Gita. According to that, your study will follow those steps. And for me, Gita journaling is this. Gita journaling is not just writing the verse just I had earlier shown for the day and crossing off the day. That's just writing the scripture. Why I do write once quickly in the morning, and when I find time do this exercise, is why would I even do this? This doesn't seem so deep, but trust me, when I do write just the meaning, it stays somewhere. It does stay with me. And sometimes when I just flip the pages in the morning, just to see how far I've done until now, when I flip the pages in the morning, my eyes rest on something, and that becomes the subject of contemplation for me on that day. And sometimes when I just write it, it sits in my mind, and it is a proven fact that when you write anything, it just is retained better. It's such a challenge to impress this upon the current generation that always wants to type or watch videos, or there's nothing wrong with that if you but if there is a sensory involvement and a physical involvement with the thing you're studying, it's always better to retain. And this is Gita journaling as opposed to just scripture writing. For that person who said, how do you journal? I think they commented saying that, oh, I've seen this is very helpful, but that one is not something that I call Gita journaling. That's just scripture writing for me. This is how I journal, and I just broke the verse down in front of the camera and said and wrote, and that's why my contemplation on the verse is restricted in this case, because I did that for a video. But usually what I do is I give nice 40-45 minutes. I just take in the verse in various ways. Veti Tatvataha will develop into so many things and small steps in my everyday life. So Vikalpena Yogena is also something that I'll go in different angles, not just being in touch with God is yoga and union with God. I'll look at it from different angles, in karma aspect, in jnana aspect, in bhakti aspect, all those things integrated in my life. And the one big ball of bhakti is what everything for me. In this huge vessel or bottle of bhakti, I have karma, I have jnana, and all other things that are broken down into simple steps in my everyday life. And that's how I contemplate on the verse. And then I try to even memorize the verse that I journal on. And I definitely, even if I don't get to memorize it on that day, I will definitely have these important words sitting in my mind, because I just wrote about them. I expanded them into practical application. Hope this is helpful for you in some way. So hope you are enjoying the process of studying Gita and rejoicing in Bhagwan's words every day. Even if you don't get to study like that, breaking up the verse into different parts, taking the important words and dwelling on them, even if one is not able to do that, touch the Gita every day. Just touch the Gita every day. I'm telling you, it makes a world's difference. Hope you're all doing well. May Lord Sri Krishna bless you all. Happy studying. Radhe Radhe.